Alright, happy Easter, everybody. He is risen. He is risen indeed. A lot of people often wonder, I know they're probably wondering, like, how I'm so calm and relaxed at work and how I don't let a lot of stuff get to me. Well, basically, you know what? I'm not going to hide behind my faith. I'm a Christian and I make mistakes. But, you know, not everybody's perfect. That's the thing. Everybody's going to make mistakes, and not everybody is perfect. I remember years ago, I'm pretty sure everybody can remember this, when the Eagles used to do this really bad. Okay? And I used to be like, you know what? There's something going on with the Philadelphia Eagles. I didn't know what it was, but to me, in my eyes and my views, I felt like they wasn't playing together as a team. Either with the coach, the manager, you know, and those are my views. I just felt like there was something going on with the Eagles that just, you know, and, needless to say, a lot of Eagles fans were pretty downright mad at me. Okay, because my views wasn't going along with their views because they were diehard Eagles fans. I mean, you know, that's just like me saying, okay, you know, well, the Steelers needed to get it together. It happens. Well, needless to say, that started a horrible argument between me and a Philadelphia Eagles fan. It happens. It's life. It happens. I'm a Christian, but I'm not going to force my Christianity, okay, on you. I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that. Now, if somebody wants to have a topic debate about Christianity, you know, I'm not going to say, I'm a Christian. You know, I feel like everybody, okay, and this is my, you know, I'm a Christian, so, personally, I feel like when I die and go to heaven, political views ain't gonna matter nothing, okay? There is no liberalism, there is no Republican, Democrat up in heaven. None of that existed. Or, if it is in the Bible, somebody show me a biblical Bible verse, point it out to me, okay? Point it out to me. You know, like I said, those are my beliefs, and everybody once in a while gets into a heavy debate, whether it be abortions. Yeah, I agree with certain topics of liberals, okay? There, I said it, it's out there. But I do not believe in abortion. Just because you were one political party does not mean that you have to believe everything and every views in your political party that might be going on. And, you know, everybody's going to agree to disagree. Everybody's going to, you know, disagree or whatever. It happens. For all who have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Who here has not sinned? Who here has done no wrong? Cast the first stone. You know, that's even in the Bible. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect, because I'm not. I'm not perfect. I have flaws, just like everybody else. I have views, just like everybody else. Okay? But it's getting to the point of my generation, within my age gap, it's getting to the point where people that are the age of 7 and above, okay, a lot of them are not even getting to live their life, okay, because things have gotten to the point where nobody wants to go back to the way things used to be, to where if you got a problem with somebody, take it out on the playground using this, okay? No, everybody wants to get a gun and handle problems this way. You know, And like I said, everybody got different political views. So why sit there and everybody got, and like I said, it's like this. Everybody's gonna have a different point of view, okay? And it is what it is. Now that argument that got real hot and heated and heavy, based against the Philadelphia Eagles team, we're best friends. Actually, we're going out. Boyfriend, girlfriend. Alright, so not all political debates are bad. Not all teams are bad. Because honestly, when you die and you go to heaven, none of that's going to matter anyway. Now, whether that's your view or not your view, honestly, it don't matter. Exactly. Politics is not in the Bible, and you have so many people going around calling, oh, well, this person is a you-know-what because they're a liberal, or this person's got to be a you-know-what because they're a Democrat, or whatever. Like, just like when people are in relationships, they don't like labels. So why are we going around labeling people based on their political views? Just like everybody has different religions. Why go around and label people? I mean, 'cause isn't what labels got this world messed up in the first place? Like now you can no longer walk down, like now, females, okay, mind you, females now, if you shave your head or whatever, 'cause you're hot or something, somebody automatically go, oh yeah, that person must be a lesbian. Not taking in consideration, maybe that person is going through chemotherapy and didn't want to wake up in the morning and have their hair fall out on their pillow. Maybe that's why they shaved their head. Or maybe they live in a hot climate and they didn't want to have long hair. Or somebody has their nose pierced, or earrings, or, or they ain't dressed a certain way, or they're wearing long clothes, or different clothes. Like, it's like we're living in a day and age where everybody wants to judge somebody. And it's not getting any better. I feel like, yeah, everybody's got views on things, Hey, somebody wants to have a political debate, or somebody, got a different opinion than me, so be it. I'm not going to shoot somebody down just because, they don't believe the same way as me, or they don't have the same political views as me. A healthy debate is always good, but when you start believing more in political views, and you have that wrapped in your head, all about political views or this or that, how somebody's dressing, which way, what underwear are they wearing, oh, they wearing briefs, or how come they ain't wearing a bikini, seriously, so many people are so worried about what everybody else is doing. And then they wonder why the world's messed up in the first place. And I feel like no mother should have to bury their child. I mean, just like when a married couple is married 50 years, do you think that other person wants to bury their soulmate? No. Nobody wants to have to go through that. And I feel like if we will all stand together, stand united, no matter the political debate, no matter the religious background, no matter, where somebody came from, if we will all stand together and have unity, then, maybe we can, everybody be friends and stand together and have unity in this world. Maybe there wouldn't be so much violence. And that's the thing. I remember when I was going to school, okay? I know some of my peers might be older than me or younger than me, but I remember when I was going to school, oh, you didn't have these brand new pair of Nikes, word was going around, oh yeah, look at that person's shoes, they must be poor. But nobody knows what that person is going through in their home life. Maybe that person's mom died and that other person had to get a full-time job to help raise their brother and sister. Or maybe somebody's going through a divorce. Or maybe somebody's parents is going through a divorce. And then the word that you just wrote on somebody's Facebook page saying, oh, did you see so-and-so and what they were wearing? Or, oh, that person looked like they haven't washed their hair in 5 days. Like, people need to watch, the words that they say. And I agree, yeah, Lily, bullying needs to stop. It's one thing to have a debate. Everybody needs to have a healthy debate, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's got different views. But when you sit there and you're so worried about, oh, yeah, that person's glasses don't go with their skin color, or that person's hair color that they dyed, oh my gosh, it don't look right. Like, you don't know what that person's home life is like. You don't know what that person's going through. So why not just stand up and become united? Whatever happened to unity? Why is everything so based on what the next person's doing? And I honestly feel like, yeah, bullying needs to stop. Everybody's wondering, how did our generation become to where violence is okay? When did it start resorting to that? But we, the people, are allowing it to happen. We, the people are allowing it to happen. Like, so many people talking about the law needs to be changed. But the laws can be changed the laws can be changed all they want to. Personally, the laws can be changed all they want to. But if we, the people, have the power to change things, but us just sitting around and not doing nothing about it is not going to change anything. Words are just words on a page sometimes. But if you don't know what that person's home life is like, be careful of what you say and whisper in somebody else's ear, because you don't know what that other person is going through. Or that person that's sitting lonely at the lunch table. Instead of mocking about that person and making that person feel lonely, why not go sit next to that person that's sitting lonely at the lunch table? Why not sit next to that lonely person on the bus? Why not make a change? What's wrong with making a change? Making a change is not going to happen unless it happens in our community. We are making our community and our generation the way it is. And it's not based on religion. It's not based on it's the right thing to do. It's just everybody has grown so far apart. Like, oh, that person don't have the latest Xbox, or this person don't have the latest PlayStation, or what do you mean you don't play video games, or or somebody likes something, for heaven's sake, you mean you're letting your son play with dolls, and then all of a sudden, like, say if you have a boy that likes to play in the kitchen, now all of a sudden gender comes out. Like, we as a community need unity. We need unity. The community needs to stand up and stop judging. People need to stop judging and stand up, and like me, it's like the bullying needs to stop. How are they expecting kids to learn? And now, like, so many people, so many kids today, they don't want to go to school. They're begging their mom and dad, please homeschool me. I don't want to go to school. Like, no kids, my generation and even younger generation, nobody's children should be scared enough to not to go to school to be able to make friends. Because that's how the world grows. You make friends with people of different background, different races. Like, who cares about skin color? Like, since when did I ever start making a person who they are, the color of their skin? Like, I'm sorry, that needs to stop too. We all need to come together and be unified. Because just sitting here and judging this person based on the clothes they wear, or the hair color they wear, or the hair color, the way they dye their hair, or the way they got nose rings or earrings, and stuff. Why are we allowing it to continue to go on? Why are we allowing this to continue to go on? People don't get to choose their parents. Like, nobody knows what goes on in that person's, you don't know what's going on in that person's life. You don't know why that person is working 2 jobs. Maybe that person just lost their mom or just lost their dad, or maybe that person has a lot going on and their brain can't process it all. When are we going to stand up and become united in unity and bring the morals back? I agree, it starts at home. But not a lot of people, has that home life. And they need that friend or big brother and big sister to look up to. But when are we, the people, going to stand up and make a change? So many people are focused on religion and skin color, and all it's doing is creating more divide. There's no unity anymore. High school is not what it like what it used to be 10, 15 years ago. When do we allow that to happen? When do we allow for things to happen on social media to where 7 and 10-year-olds are committing suicide because of bullying? When's it going to stop? The laws can change all they want to. You got that right, Lily. Schools don't teach morals no more. And then half the people wonder why we're in the mess that we're in. And then when teachers, I hate to say it, but when teachers try to correct a child, a lot of parents will say, "Oh no, not my child. My child wouldn't do that." Just like the other day, okay, I work and I deal with people, okay? Just the other day, this parent, alright, shopping down the aisles of the store, and they left their kid in the shopping cart and was clear on the other end of the aisle of the store. And it's like they wasn't even worried about kidnapping or anything. When did it get so bad that now that you can't even let your kids play outside in your front yard without peeping out your front window? When do we allow all this to happen? Because we're allowing it to happen. We are allowing this to happen. And I know this video might make people mad, and I might lose friends because of it. But why are we allowing things to happen and continue to happen? I remember back when my cousins used to go to school, and they got spanked on their behind. Because they had so many demerits, and then when they got demerits equaled up to a tally at a certain point, yeah, they got a paddle on their behind by the principal. And I can tell you one thing, they didn't act out nearly as bad. I'm not saying child abuse. I'm not saying that at all, because I don't agree with child abuse. I just don't. That's just not my style. But when you take God out of schools, prayer out of schools, and this might offend people. This might open up a public debate. Let's debate. But when are we going to put a stop to bullying? When are we going to stand up? When are we going to become united? There's no race in the Bible. When do we become divided by race? Where in the Bible, where in biblical scripture does it say that we are to be divided by race? Where in the Bible is that? I mean, if it is, then somebody drop the Bible verse below. I mean, I know, like I said, this video might offend somebody, but I'm not going to back down by my beliefs. I won't. I just won't. I won't back down. And I agree. You know, we need unity back in the school. We need unity back. We're letting the government have too much control. We need to stand up and take control of what's right. History repeats itself. People need to, take a look around. History is repeating itself as we speak right now. We're on the verge of World War III. Not many people realize that. We're on the verge of World War III. And here we are sitting here having a non-denominational. Churches, and there are non-denominational churches. And it's not religion that saves you. That's the thing. Yes, or a civil war. And a lot of people are going around acting like it's not serious. We are becoming a divided country, a divided nation, and we're allowing it to happen. We are allowing the violence to happen. We are allowing the bullying to happen. And yeah, I know, all kids, teenagers of all generations, yeah, I know. They have smartphones and they have tablets. Yeah, they can go behind their parents' back and make different social platforms and make their own passwords. And that's the thing. People are now, cyber bullying people because they're saying things on cyber that they wouldn't say directly to the person's face. And that needs to stop. That needs to stop. I mean, when is it okay to, when somebody had different views, different religion, different denomination, whatever you want to call it, when is it okay to take somebody's photo off the internet and start slandering and writing comments on their name, but in the same sentence be like, oh, I'm a Christian, or, oh, I'm part of this religion. When is it okay to take somebody's photo and Photoshop, okay, and write whatever the heck you want to write about that person, but yet sit there and say, I pray every night. And like I said, I'm not claiming I'm perfect because I'm far from perfect. I sin every day. And you know what? I'm not afraid to admit it. But more and more each day, and I read the book called I Can Only Imagine, okay, by Bart Miller, okay? You know what another good book is? The Secret of Happiness by Billy Graham. Just As I Am by Billy Graham. Answers to Life's Questions by Billy Graham. That's a good book. It's definitely a good book to share with teenagers and everything. You know? So many kids, such as the age of 7, 5, 8, 10, and up, have Instagram accounts. Boxer account, Facebook's account, Messenger. I'm sorry, but when I was a child, I had coloring pencils, I had markers, I had paper. I used my imagination. I didn't have iPad or, I had a Super Nintendo or a regular Nintendo, but, I was made to do chores. And then when I got done with chores and my homework, them video games was kind of like a treat. I didn't tell my parents, oh, wait a minute, I'll take out the trash when I get done playing this game. Nowadays you got people that are being born with spina bifida and different, birth defects. And then people are like, people just don't want to accept the other person because they see that person in a wheelchair, but they see the wheelchair, they don't see the individual. Like they're already discriminated against because the person is not allowing to see the individual because of all this stuff that's being passed down from generation to generation to generation. And as a moral compass, this country is sinking, and we're on sinking grounds. And we're sinking fast. And just like all these social media websites and all this and that, it's getting almost impossible for parents to keep up with what their kids are doing. But, why does a 5-year-old need a smartphone? This day and age, yeah, I can understand kids need a phone because of the stuff that's going on. But we allow it to happen. We're allowing it to go on. We are allowing it to happen. When are we going to take a stand and stand up and stop? When are people going to stop looking at the wheelchair and get to know the individual? When are people going to stop signaling people out and start bringing together unity and treating people as equal and letting everybody be friends, not worrying about what their political views are or what their religious background is? Because religion is, honestly, it's not what gets you to heaven anyway. It's your personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Anybody can go to church every Sunday, okay, and live their life like they ain't never been to church and live their life Monday through Saturday. Anybody can do that. But we need to stand up and become united. All this racial stuff, bullying, all that stuff needs to stop. And sadly, it starts with our generation. It starts with our generation. When is our generation going to stand up and make a change? But we're so worried about what happened in the 1950s and 1960s and 1970 eras. When are we going to start worrying about today and make a change today? It starts with our generation. And if our generation don't stand up and make the change and become united, then it's just going to keep being passed on from our kids and then to their kids and then to their kids if there is a world left by then. And frankly, honestly, I hope I'm dead and gone before that. I don't even want to see what takes place then if things continue on the way they're going. And I'll say that proudly. I don't want to be around to see it. It's getting bad now. Can you imagine what it's going to be like 15, 20 years ago? 20 years from now? Things are getting worse. And it starts with our generation. I don't care if this goes viral or not. But we need to stop hiding behind our computers. We need to stop hiding behind our keyboard. We need to stand up and teach, if you have children, teach our children that just because somebody's in a wheelchair, don't look at the wheelchair. Don't look at somebody's blindness. Don't look at somebody's disability as in that defines who they are. People need to stop looking at people's disabilities and start getting to know them as an individual. All this worrying about popularity contests and stuff needs to end. This bullying stuff needs to end. We need to bring unity back. And I saw dividedness even when I was in high school, where, if you're not a part of the popular crowd, go sit over there. You can't sit at this table. Or if you sat at this table, you were labeled a geek. People need to stop with the labels. Stop putting labels on people if you don't want to have labels put on you. Stop judging. Stop the bullying. It's sad when that you got to explain to a 5-year-old why their 10-year-old sister is no longer with them because of the words that somebody else said or because of what somebody posted on the internet. And it starts with our generation. The baby boomers generation, honestly, I hate to say it, they really can't change anything. It starts with our generation, and we got to stand up and make a stand. And it starts with our kids. We got to teach them the moral, the values, and bring back respect. When did it ever become okay for a 5-year-old to slap their mother in the face and to run their mother around and tell their mother what they're going to do? But yet we're allowing it to happen. We're allowing it to happen. Yeah, sex is on the TV, sex is in the movie, sex is everywhere you go, or drugs is this and drug is that and drug is everywhere you go. Okay, but it's up to the parents to control what their children are watching. It's up to the parents to make a stand. Instead of trying to be their teenager's best friend or their child's best friend. Be a parent. Be a parent. It starts with our generation to bring the morals back, to treat people with respect instead of looking at people's disability and going around mocking people. Oh yeah, that person must have a hearing impairment. So what? Since when did outward appearance become so bad that that's all everybody knows how to do anymore is pick out the impurities of their peer mates? Instead of being united with their peers, everybody wants to be divided. What's going on with that? Or if you're deaf and all of a sudden if you're deaf, people just don't want to communicate with you because that person got a hearing impairment. Why not try to learn another language? Why not try to fit in and feel what that person's feeling like? Or why not try to say, hey, you're feeling, I see you're feeling down today. What's wrong? Why not? And I'll say it again. Stop labeling kids. And I agree. Peer pressure is another thing. That starts at home too. The peer pressure needs to go out the window. That needs to go out the window right along with bullying. It needs to go out the window right along with bullying. Because it's not okay to peer pressure anybody into anything. Nobody should feel uncomfortable to do anything they don't want to do. Same way with, the popular group. The popular group shouldn't, there shouldn't be no groups, period. There shouldn't be no popular group, or anything. Everybody should learn how to get along. If you take two kids together, a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, or a 2-year-old and 3-year-old, what are they going to do? They're going to play. They're not looking at each other's imperfectness. They're not looking at each other to find out what's wrong with the other person. No, they're going to play. They're going to be kids. And us adults need to start doing the same thing. Because it starts with our generation. And so far, our generation isn't doing anything. Our generation is not doing anything but letting the history repeat itself. And it's going to continue to repeat itself unless our generation stands up and make a stand. Since when do we allow that violence was okay? When do we allow to let things get so bad to where nobody wants to stand up and make a stand and say, you know what, this is wrong. We all need to stand together and become united before things get worse. And we adults going around looking at different people and saying, oh, well, this, but children don't do that. Children are taught, oh, look at that wheelchair, or, oh, yeah, look, you see that person over there. Like, children don't do that naturally. Children don't do that naturally. And just like what I hate even more is when two couples get together and they have a child, and then all of a sudden, the first thing the other person wants to do just because the other person don't get along, and instead of putting the differences aside, they want to use the child as a play toy, playing tug of war with the child, saying, oh, saying bad things about this parent and saying bad things about that parent. But yet, at the time that two couples decide to make a decision to lay down and have a child, oh, that partner was okay then. When you went to bed with them, that partner was okay then. But yet, you want to teach that child and have all kinds of bad things to say about the other parent. That needs to stop too, because that caused division as well. And if a guy don't want to come around, then so be it. It's the guy's loss. It's that other parent's loss. But why go running after somebody and begging and pleading and pleading and begging? It's not going to make a difference. And I'm going to say something, and this might make a lot of people mad, but it needs to be addressed. And it might, excuse my language, but piss a lot of people off. I know everybody heard the thing that happened down in Florida. I didn't want to talk about this topic, but you know what? It's out there. It's on the news, it's on the media, and everything else. And I'll say this. People are doing, and this might make a lot of people mad, but so be it. I'm going to voice, I have opinions just like everybody else has opinions. Everybody can debate or not debate. But everybody are taking the United States Constitution and they're picking it apart and they're picking different pieces of word and making it out to what they want it to stand for. Just like same people would do with the Bible. They would take different bits and pieces of Bible verses and say, oh, well, this Bible verse means this. And they're taking it out of context. And people are doing the same thing with the Constitution of the United States. they're taking this amendment and taking bits and pieces and parts of it, and they're ripping it apart, and they're taking it apart, and they're ripping it and shredding it up, and then they're making it sound to what they want it to make it sound like. Or making it mean what they think it means. And people do the same thing with the Bible. Oh, but the Bible don't really says that. It says this instead. But they're taking it what it says out of context and making it for what they want it to say. And I'm sorry. I love to hunt. Okay, I love to go deer hunting. I love to hunt. But, and I'm going to say this. If you're hunting a deer or anything like that, and I respect everybody's beliefs. I respect everybody's political views. I have no problem with everybody having different political views because we're human. We all have different views. We all have different... It makes us who we are. We're unique individuals. If everybody believed the same, walked the same, talked the same, we'd be all pretty boring individuals, don't you think? But nobody, in my mind, is civilian. Okay? Needs a weapon that will spray like a garden hose. What would you need that type of weapon for? Why would you need it? Why would anybody need to go home? And another thing in this country that I know that's lacking is mental health. And I don't know if anybody noticed anymore, but it seemed like when I was in high school back in 2002, there wasn't a lot of people walking around with ADHD or ADD. Now it seems like every time you go to the doctor, the first thing that the doctors want to say when you say, oh, my kid had trouble concentrating, what about a learning disability? But no, nowadays, learning disability is being shoved out the window. It's autism, or it's ADD, or ADHD. Oh, let's medicate with Ritalin. Or let's medicate with Adderall. More and more children are being put on prescription drugs. And we, the people, are allowing it to happen. We're not standing up against these doctors and say, whoa, no, you don't know my child like I know my child. But we're allowing the doctors to put labels on our children. We're allowing the doctor to prescribe pills, and we're giving children these medicines that they might not even need. And it starts with our generation. ADD and ADHD didn't exist back when I was, well, you know, when I was a teenager. Exactly. The Second Amendment was created so if the government does go haywire, but people that believe in Jesus Christ will be gone by the rapture before that even happens. But like I said, there is no amendment up in heaven. And everybody is so worried about the Constitution that they're not worrying about where they're spending eternity. Exactly. And we, the people, are allowing. We are allowing the doctor to drug our children. And we're not doing nothing about it. A cold. Here's some antibiotics. And the child might not even need antibiotics. But here, take them anyway. I remember back when I was a child. And I know this is going to make a lot of people mad too. But back when I was a child, I didn't get all these shots at one time. I got them on a delayed schedule. But we, the people, need to take a stand. We can take a stand against the United States government. We, the people, are allowing this to happen. We, the people, elect the government officials. If we don't like it, then we need to stand up and veto them out. We need to stand up and make a change. If we don't like something, we need to stand up and make a change. Back when I was growing up, now all of a sudden you're going through something, doctors want to shove a depression pill down your throat. Instead of saying, maybe you need to vent to somebody, maybe you need to talk to somebody, maybe you need to join a therapy group. But no, they want to shove prescription pill down our body. They want to shove vitamin down our body. Nobody does research on supplements that they're putting in their bodies. Nobody is reading ingredients of what food they're putting in their bodies. Nobody's doing research anymore. And you're right, because we as Americans are lazy. When are we as Americans of the United States going to take a stand and stand up and fight for what is right? We elected these people in office. We don't have to stand back and allow this to happen. We can make a change. We voted them in, and we can get them out. But you're right, us as Americans are lazy. We're allowing the doctor to shove medication down our child's throats. And we're not even doing any research. Exactly. They are putting poison in our meats. They are putting poison in our children's cereals. And you know how many people are buying it off the shelves because there's so many people that don't know any better? So many people are buying bleach and toxic chemicals and they're not doing the research, knowing they're not watching what kind of detergent that they're putting in their clothes, or the perfumes they're spraying on their body, that it takes so many seconds for that toxic chemical to soak in our skins. And I'm not shoving products down people's throats. I'm not doing that. But so many people want to blame, do the name game or the name blame or the blame game when we, the people, are allowing it to happen. We, the people, are allowing it to happen. You know how many people that got the flu shots that died of the flu? Yeah, everybody's body chemistry is different, okay? I'm not saying it's going to affect everybody the same way. Has anybody realized that autism is at an all-time high? Has anybody ever sat and think that maybe it's because of the food and the chemicals that they're putting in our laundry detergent or in our cleaners, in our meats, in our vegetables, where they're spraying them with toxic chemicals? And everybody thinking you take them home and wash them and the toxic chemicals come off? Or what about the lotions that our people are using? What about the lotion that people are using and they're not thinking twice of the ingredients that are in the Bible? What about the coffee that people are drinking and they don't check the resources of where they're buying their coffee from? And nobody is researching. Do your research, people. Ask for the inserts when you go to the doctor's office. Ask for the inserts of all the shots that you're about to give your kids. Do your research. Gardasil shot. They want to get babies shot so they don't get the hepatitis C. I'm sorry, what newborn infant is going to be sexually active? How many people read the fine print on the insert of flu vaccinations? How many people take the time to read? And every year it's a different strain of the flu. And people have yet to figure it out, what the United States government is doing to us. Does anybody realize mental health is at an all-time high? Did you know now that you can go out and you can beat somebody up in high school and, if they have an undiagnosed medical condition, that person gets away with murder? When do we start allowing that to happen? And then we, the people, wonder why so much violence is going on, but airing it on the media is not helping, because then other people looking around, there's people on the media, on the news, and how their name is becoming popular, and they're sitting at home plotting the next, I can be the next popular person because, this person carried out this plot. Let's see what bigger plot I can carry out. Because it's being over-nationalized on multiple media. It's being spread like a wildfire. And we need to contain this fire, or we're all going to be engulfed in the flames. Did you know that GNC has lawsuits on their products? Do your research. I'm not asking people to take my word for it. I'm not asking people to take my word for it. Do your research. Do the research on Bath and Body Works. Do your research on Victoria's Secrets. Do your research on Flintstone vitamins. But I will say, and I will share what I take. And I'm not asking anybody to, I'm not forcing products down people's throats. I'm doing based on research. But I take the Peak Performance. Okay? I take Peak Performance. And I'm not going to mention the company's name or anything like that. But people need to do the research, and we need to stand together. It starts with our community. It starts with our community. And if we as a community stay divided, so will our children, and so will their children's children. When are we going to take a stand? And I'll be honest, say the government were to come, okay? And try to overthrow whatever it is. And say a person does try to take their assault rifle or whatever weapons they have. The government got tankers. The military has tanks. What kind of weapon is going to outdo a tank? Or a submarine? Maybe instead of judging people, stand up and be there for one another. Instead of having people so based on racism, stop worrying about people's colors and be there for them as their friend. Instead of picking on that person that's walking to the bus stop alone, maybe their parents just got a divorce. Maybe think about what you're saying before you start judging somebody. Maybe the people in Florida are standing up because maybe they're hurt. Maybe they're tired of losing loved ones due to gun violence. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of reading every time in the news or hear everything in the paper that, this person's brother shot their baby sister. Because the parents don't know how to be responsible gun owners. It's not that everybody is out to get people's weapons or want to take people's guns away or take people's Second Amendment away. It's because some people are not responsible gun owners. That's why a lot of people are standing up and saying, look, it's not that somebody's out to somebody's gun rights. or somebody wants to take somebody's Second Amendment away. I believe that's not what the students in Florida are trying to do. The students in Florida are trying to basically say, yeah, sure, there were guards on the outside, but who in heaven's name, who is going to sit there and go into a building with somebody that has a weapon that's has bullets flying like a garden hose versus a weapon that can only fire one shot at a time? Who's got the guts to go in and face that? I know I wouldn't. Nobody is trying to take anybody's Second Amendment away. I don't care what political party view that you're from. Nobody's trying to take anybody's Second Amendment away. But when do we allow it to happen to where people want to go buy a gun to shoot up people? And I say it's because of bullying. If people didn't spend so much time bullying, then people wouldn't worry about buying an assault rifle and worrying about how many people they can take out that bully them. I think people are trying to make a stand and say, hey, civilians doesn't need a gun that is spraying like a garden hose, a shotgun, or whatever can do just as much damage. But, like I say again, if people were to stop bullying and stand up and be people friend and sit next to one another at the lunch table, or sit next to that lonely person on the bus, instead of mocking what size earrings they have, or how come this person's not wearing contact, or why that person wearing, I don't know, blue lipstick for an example, or worrying about what eyeshadow somebody's wearing, or how come somebody don't have the latest North Face on, or how come somebody don't have the latest computer or tablet or entertainment or what have you, or this person don't have that many friends on Facebook, or since when did all that become a problem, or since when did somebody's physical appearance when did so many people become so worried about somebody's physical appearance? People need to start looking on what's on the inside instead of being so worried about what's on the outside. When did it become okay to allow people to want to bring an assault rifle to school because they no longer feel safe to get an education? When do we allow this to happen? When are we allowing people to allow them to alter weapons because they feel unsafe? That shouldn't even be going on. That shouldn't even be happening. Nobody should feel that unsafe that they can't go to school to get an education. But we, the people, are allowing it to happen. We, the people, are allowing the violence to happen in the United States of America. We're allowing it to happen. And 3% is 3 too many. The gun violence and the bullying need to stop. The gun violence and the bullying needs to stop. But it's up to we, the people, to make a difference. It's up to our generation to stand up and make a difference and bring morals back. We need to bring God back into the country. We need to bring God back into the schools. So many people were worried about separation versus church and state. But when did it become okay to allow for our children to not feel safe to attend school or college because they're worrying about if they go to college, they might not see their mom or dad again? Because they never know when their school or college are going to get shot up. That shouldn't have to be on a teenager's mind. That shouldn't have to be on a preschooler's mind. Nobody should have to sit there and explain to their 2 or 3-year-old child when they're dropped off at daycare that, no, It's unnecessary, and it's uncalled for, and it's not going to stop until we, the people, make a change. We, the people, need to make a change. And that's all I'm going to say. And we can sit here and talk from sun up to sundown. But it's up to we, the people, if we want unity back in the United States of America. Stop pulling the racial card. Leave the skin color elsewhere. It don't belong. We need to start treating people as equals. We need to stop discriminating every time somebody walks down the street, and because of the color of their skin, people are thinking they're up to no good. That is a learned behavior. That is a learned behavior. Somebody walking down the street, you take, and I'm sorry if I'm about to pull the racial card, but why is it? And nobody is 100% white, and nobody is 100% African American. We are all mixed. We are all mixed. But people need to, it's a learned behavior where somebody walking down the street and all of a sudden somebody thinks, oh, that person must be up to no good. And law-abiding citizens, I'm sorry. Nobody should need a weapon that sprays like a garden hose unless you're in the United States military. Why would any law-abiding citizen want something that can spray like a garden hose and wipe their peers off of this planet? Why would anybody feel the need to shoot anybody? Why are we allowing that to happen? Why? That's my question. Why are we allowing the things to happen that are continuing to happen after generation to generation to generation to generation? When is it going to stop? When is negative behavior going to be stopped, passed down from generation to generation to generation? When is learned traits going to be passed down from generation to generation? I'm all for about people getting help. If you need help, get the help. If you have an addiction, get the help. But to sit there and say, oh, I have a disease, nobody put any type of weapon to your head and say, oh, well, and I know this is going to make people mad too, but nobody put anything to your head and say, here, do this heroin or else. Nobody makes nobody do nothing. You make the choices you make. You choose to make the choices you make. You choose the life that you make for yourself. You don't like something, change it. Here we are, the United States of American citizen, and we are sitting here complaining and moaning and groaning. But you know what? Nobody's doing nothing about it. A lot of people complaining about what the students down Florida is doing. But you know what? At least they're standing up for themselves. At least they're fighting to have, to where people shouldn't feel scared out of their mind just because they're trying to get an education. But that doesn't make it right for people to take their photos off the internet and write all kinds of garbage about them. They are people like you and I. And that's bullying. And bullying needs to stop. Just like when you have a debate and somebody wants to call somebody the B word, or, oh, you're a fake, or you're whatever they want to say. The bullying and the name calling needs to stop. And it starts with our generation. And since when did we allow it to happen if somebody has a mental health issue and they go out and kill people? It ain't about the politics half the time. That's the thing. Everybody's so worried about politics. Instead of worrying about being united and standing and being united. Everybody wants to be divided against different politics. That's what divided this country in the first place. And that might make people mad. And it might make people angry. But I mean, pushing all politics aside. That's what divided our country to start with. So many worrying about the Republicans and the Democrats and the liberals. What people are trying to stand up and say is that they're losing their brother and sister. They're losing their family due to gun violence. And they want the violence to stop. That's because we, the people, are making it all about the politics. We, the people, can change that. But we're sitting here talking about the government and sitting here talking about this and how it's about politics and that. But we, the people, made that happen. When are we going to start with our younger generation and make them realize that politics doesn't make who you are? Where in the Bible does it say that liberals will take over? Where in the Bible did it say anything about liberal people who are going to rule the world or rule the government and make it a one world order? Oh, I will research that. And like I said, like I say, everybody should do their research. I have nothing against research. But we, the people, are allowing politics to take over. We can stop that if we want to. Yeah, Satan. The devil, yes. But nowhere in the Bible does it say a liberal, a Democrat, or a Republican will take over. Nowhere in the Bible. So many people are worrying about the United States government, but yet nobody is willing to change anything. So many people are worrying about liberal this and liberal that and Republican this and Democrat or whatever Democratic party you're in. But nobody's worrying about where they're going to spend eternity at. Maybe that's where people need to put their focus at. Is where they're going to spend eternity. And hey, I'd rather waste my life worrying about where I'm going to spend eternity except when I die and then it happens to be true. Do you think that the people that lost their friend, do you think that they're worrying about politics, or you think they're more worrying about to where they're hoping that it don't happen again to another high school? Food for thought. Do you think the ones that are going around is worrying about political agenda? Do you think the mothers and fathers that are burying their child or the teenagers that are standing up are more worrying about political views, or are they more focusing on they don't want us to see it to happen to anybody else? Or are we, the people, more focused on political views that we're making it seem that way? So the next time when a 17-year-old gets killed in Wilmington, should we the people, attend that person's funeral and say politics made that person pull that trigger? Politics made that person go out and buy the gun. Politics don't make nobody do anything. People are going to make the choices they make regardless. And like I said, do you really think that the people in Florida are more worried about politics instead of worrying about they don't want it to happen to another high school or another college or another university? Because nobody should have to go through that. But I think when a lot of people stood up, and I'm even talking about, clear back and a lot of people were too scared to stand up and fight for what's right. A lot of people were too scared to stand up and say, I believe in God, because they're scared of the backlash that their peers might give to them based on what they believe in. Just like these students in Florida are getting Photoshop and videos and whatever posted all over the internet about their views and based on their beliefs or their background or whatever, being called skinhead, lesbian, whatever you want to call it. Like, all that name calling is unnecessary. And we, the people, are allowing it to happen. And unless we, the people, stand up and decide to make a change, it's going to continue to happen. And nobody should be ridiculed. Nobody should be mocked based on what they believe in or what their agenda or how they feel about certain things. Nobody should be mocked or made fun of. And nobody's saying you got to give up your guns. That's the thing. So many people are focusing on something about, so many people are focused on about how people want to give up their guns and stuff. I'm saying they're more focusing on how they don't want it to happen again. But people are so brainwashed that they're not seeing it from that point of view or from that point of perspective. I know if my sister was shot, that darn well I'm going to stand up and make sure that it don't happen to another high school or whatever. Thank God she graduated. But people are bringing children into this world, and they shouldn't have to explain to a 5-year-old why they're going to preschool and explain. No preschool should have to do drills in event of an emergency. No child should have to have that in their head. But we, the people, are allowing it to happen. And nobody's saying anybody has to give up anything, but we, the people, are allowing a lot of things to happen and allowing a lot of things to go on. And like I said, this video might make a lot of people off, it might go viral, but you know what, I'm going to stand up for my beliefs. Nobody is saying anything, but nobody needs, a civilian does not need a gun to shoot up the like a garden hose. There's just no need. Tell me why somebody would want to take a gun to shoot bullets like a garden hose. Why? You plan on going on a mass murder or a mass murder spree? Like, why would you need that? Why would anybody need a weapon? Why would anybody want to take that kind of weapon into a school or a mall or a grocery store? Why? Exactly. Only criminals do. But if, and you know, I like to say, I hunt and everything, and like I said, I would never need a gun to spray bullets to hunt a deer. My meat would be destroyed. I wouldn't be able to eat it. But the only thing I'm saying is we, the people, need to stand together and have unity and quit the bullying. Maybe if the bullying wasn't so bad, nobody would want to go out and buy those bullets to spray like garden hose and go on a killing spree. Lawful gun owners wouldn't be put up a big stink. And you're right, criminals are going to find a way to get their hands on whatever they want to get their hands on. I agree with you on that. Just like drug dealers are going to find a way to murder people's children by getting them addicted and hooked and overdose. That's never going to change either. Unless we, the people, stand up and try to make this place, make this world we live in a better place. But unless we, the people, do, nothing's going to change. And I mean nothing. But it's 12:42 a.m. and it's midnight. It's 12:42 in the morning, and I need to get my behind to bed and get some sleep. But we the people need to stand up and make a change and stop teaching negative behavior and stop teaching racism and bring God back in our school and stand and be united. But as long as we have people that going around saying, oh, well, don't do this and don't do that, it ain't going to happen. If we don't stand up and take a stand and do something, instead of sitting back and saying, oh, yeah, let's let criminals have their way. Let's let criminals do whatever they want. Let's not take a stand. Let's not do anything. Then it's gonna continue to do what it wants. Everybody's gonna continue to do what it's gonna do. And from generation to generation, things are not gonna change. Unless we, the people, make the change. We voted them in. We can vote them out. With that being said, good night, everybody.